Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Welcome to Black and Nuanced Podcast. It is Georgette. I am here with some guest co-hosts. Well, let me give you a background on Black and Nuanced Podcast. Black and Nuanced Podcast is spelling the ideas that all Black people are monoliths because we're not. We bring our varying perspectives to pop culture, relationships, and things we go through that we can't always name. Welcome to Black and Nuanced, powered by Excitement Radio. So I am doing a thing with rotating co-hosts, and I have Queen, one of my colleagues in the building. Queen, what is up?
What's up? It's the one and only. You can't call me your girl, Queen.
I can't. Wait. I can't.
I'm here to turn up with Georgette.
And so we have a special guest with us. Women's History Month, we got to go out with a bang. I have author Seanne Murray in the building.
Yes, Seanne N. Murray.
Yes, how are you?
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, so real quick, before I get into the background of Queen and Seanne, so we've been off the air, at least the podcast has been off the air for about 3 weeks. Snap used to be my co-host, and we ended season 1 with an intervention. So he was dealing with a lot of trauma, and coming from where he's coming from, like he's in his 40s, there's a lot of things that he just felt like were taboo in the Black community, and therapy was one of them. And so we ended the season with a therapist, and he ended up getting a new job, so his schedule changed. And so I was just like, you know what, Black and Nuance must continue. And so I was like, this is not going to go anywhere. And so while I was out, I caught the flu for the first time ever in my life. I was so upset about it. And I was just like, okay, I got to come back season 2, newer energy, newer guests, just bomb ass content. And we are here. Here we are.
We're here, baby.
Queen was made for this. So Queen, give them a little bit of background on you.
About me, I don't know. Like, where do I start? I mean, I've been in journalism for a while.
Okay.
I graduated from the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. Yes, I am.
Ain't she a liar?
I am a rattler. I have my own podcast as well with my co-host Sean. We started it kind of in school because we was on the radio in school, so we just continued it into a podcast called Tell Me Mo. Well, not Tell Me Mo Media, which is called the A-List Podcast. And I also have an entertainment brand called Tell Me Mo, not more. We're a little ghetto, so Tell Me Mo.
Like Mo Better
Media.
Blues.
Yes.
That might be a little old for you.
I love that. I know Mo Better Blues, yeah.
Old soul in me. So yes, and now I'm working with Georgette.
Yes. And so Seanne N. Murray, please tell us about you, and then we're going to delve into some things.
So I am many things, as all women are.
Yes.
And
That's a word.
Okay.
Yes. One of the things I am is an author. I'm the author of The Art of Submission, The Woman's Guide to Fulfillment, which is all about self-actualization.
And thank you for a copy of your book. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I love gifts.
But this is the gift that will definitely keep on giving.
Yes, absolutely. So Sean, we got a chance to read a little bit about the book and the background on you, and I want to really kind of get into it. So can you tell us a little bit about the book and how you came to that title?
Sure. So The Art of Submission, it comes across as very sexy and sensual, and it can be. And it's very interesting because depending on what has occurred in an individual's background seems to be how they perceive what the book is about. And so, yeah, it's very, very interesting. So for me, and it'll touch everyone differently, I recognize that. For me, The Art of Submission is about submitting fully to your true self, becoming fully self-actualized, and the process that we go through to become fully self-actualized, which, by the way, never ends.
I agree.
You can get to these points and moments, but guys, this art of life is constant progression and constant evolution. But people tend to think that The Art of Submission is about sex. But when you read the book, it's not about sex at all.
Oh, it's beyond that.
But some people read the book and still think it's about sex, which I just find very interesting. And sometimes it's because of some trauma that has happened in their lives, or just maybe that they can't get with that word submission and take it out of sex. And I think there's a lot of talk in pop culture these days, like in rap music and what have you, where there's sort of a submissive nature to women who are doing things or behaving in certain ways to please men that have nothing to do with themselves.
I agree.
Right.
I mean, when I think submission, I think it also, for those that are really, religious and go back to the Bible, you think about like the woman must submit to the man,
Yes.
right? And so I've always struggled with that, and I'm like, like, what does that really mean? Yeah.
Granted, I'm so glad you brought that down, because when I did read the title, my first instinct says, like, I just know this whole book is about sex, until I got dove more into the press release. But it's so crazy because I always talk about the submissive role and just being a submissive woman. I don't always think it's like being weak for your
correct
man, or being a weak person.
Well, it took me some time to get to that point too.
I never like really thought. And see,
what I say is, it's that you shouldn't even be thinking about submitting to a man if that's what you choose to do, until you submit to yourself first. It's not possible to submit to anyone else until you submit to yourself, and it's in fact dangerous.
Oh, interesting. Can we delve more into, like, there were some things that you talked about where you had the good girl mentality, college virgin. So Quinn is like me.
Because I'm like, I'm young, I'm 24.
Yeah.
So it's like,
oh my gosh, are you? I was today years old when I found that out. Oh my gosh, really?
Yes,
okay, I
didn't.
didn't.
You thought I was older?
I did.
Oh, that's not good.
Not okay. Wait, that's not a bad thing though.
Okay, but yeah, that's why it hit me so close, because when you say like the college version and just not knowing and figuring yourself, like it hit like this whole thing of being the good girl, the college version, the loyal dater. Like I feel like that's my stage right now. Like that's the season that I'm in. But I have to realize, like, it's okay to go explore. Yeah. Like you're still
But you
young.
come across as free, but that might just
she
be
does.
How you
I
yourself.
think that's just my personality. Like I'm just a happy person. Like I want my energy to rub off of other people's energy to make them happy. Like
right.
I just like.
But guess what? You just make other people happy.
That's true.
It's like there's people talk. You ever heard of someone talk about staying in the vortex?
Yes.
So
yes.
Your happy place. Like you're always staying here. And I've had this problem until recently. Because I do a lot of things that in terms of social advocacy, making sure people have clean drinking water, doing things against gun violence, things like that. And there was a time that I felt like I had to feel their pain. And so that meant I had to step out of my place and sacrifice myself so that I could really understand what the people were feeling that I wanted to help. And then what I realized is that doesn't help me.
It kind of brings you
it's
down.
like it does. So you have to stay where you are and then let people come into your field.
Right. It's like you don't have to be sick to help someone that's sick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can't. If you're sick,
correct.
You actually can't
help
somebody else, right? So the same thing works in terms of being a woman. And see, this is about it's really about women almost isolated from everyone else. This is not about how to be a woman for a partner, or how to be a woman for a man, or how to be a woman for another woman. It's about how to be a woman for you and only you. And some people, you use the word selfish. Selfish is not a bad word. Just turn, like we have to, and the reason I like the word submission, because I like that it makes people confused. Because it's like, how are we actually using words? What do they really mean? Selfish is a good thing. If you think of the word self-consciousness is how you relate to the universe and God. We are self-conscious, conscious of ourselves and our relation to the entire universe. Okay. See how those words have been turned around to make us think that they're not good, but they in fact are. And I think women, we take so much time wanting to care for someone else. We're kind of trained with that, and
we're brought up that way to be the emotional, caring human being for other people.
Exactly. And what I found is like when you hit like around that 7 years old, that's when everything changes. Like I love little girls, because when you're a little girl, you know exactly who you are, you know exactly how you feel, you know exactly what your gifts are. Don't you remember that feeling? You knew who you were and what you were here to do. Then right when you get around that like school age, just people are like, oh, don't laugh with your mouth open, don't get dirty, pull your dress down, don't do this. My dad used to tell me I needed to carry tissues in my purse, and it's such a stupid thing, but I've never carried a tissue in my purse ever since he said that. Why should I be carrying tissues in my purse for other people who need tissues?
Oh, that's so interesting.
Oh, no.
Did something happen in your background for you when you grew up to have that good girl? Because I know for me, like I know where mine is connected connected to. So I'm curious on where yours was connected to.
I was just raised that way. I'm the oldest child, oldest grandchild. I was just like that perfect kid. Whatever my parents said do, I did. Whatever they said don't do, I didn't do it. I made the mistake of one time. Like I said, I wanted to be a writer very early. I've always had this writer artistic thing. And one day I made a mistake and said I wanted to be a pediatrician. Oh, that was it. I literally became an adult studying for medicine like at 7 years old. Like I can remember that shift, and it was about me wanting to please them. It wasn't, there's no blame on it from them, because there are a lot of people, I'm sure you guys know, actors and actresses, that they will do anything. They will sleep in their car. They will, because they know that's their thing. And I honor that so much now, more than ever, because it took me so many years to get to that point where I was like, what in the hell am I doing? I literally, and I'm a 9/11 survivor. After 9/11, I had these, like, I just had to deal with the fact that I did not want to live my life the way I was living it anymore. And it literally became a life and death situation. It was either I'm going to move on from this or I'm going to die.
Was that the catalyst for you? 9/11 was the catalyst for you, or did something else?
I think that was a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was a big one, because I got to see, I mean, first of all, I literally watched people die.
Yeah.
And I survived that day. And then the biggest part of it, and I don't know if you were in New York at that time.
I wasn't.
You weren't. New York at that time was the purest love you could possibly imagine. Imagine being on the subway in New York and looking at people eye to eye on the subway, not thinking, oh, that's crazy.
Right.
Saying literally, like, I love you.
Yeah.
Like, you could feel it for at least like 3 months. And so that really did change me, because it changed every aspect of my life, because I know what we can have. And for me, the things I care about are women. I care about kids. I care about Black people. Those are kind of the things I focus on. And I think the thing about being a woman, especially like someone that your age and this environment that you're growing up in with all this extraneous stuff that I think can really hurt you.
Especially when you're trying to find exactly who you are, because we always think we know who we are and we have no
and other people, though, they hone in on that, because they can see, especially in the career that you're getting into. And we were talking about, I lived in LA for 5-6 years. People in certain industries, even by the way in human trafficking, it's the same way. They look for the weak, whatever weakness they can find, and they will hone right in on that and literally just grab it and hold on to it and pull you right in. See, it's so funny. I see the look on your face right now.
I know. Can we go back a little bit about what the selfish word?
Yeah.
While you was writing this book and figuring yourself out and getting everything together, did you find, like, how can we, like, get the bad meaning and bad connotation? Is that the right word I'm saying? Right?
As far as the out of the word submission? Or selfish?
Selfishness.
Yeah.
Like, because, sometimes even selfishness can be, like, used as conceited. And it's not that I'm trying to come off as a conceited
person. By the way, I don't even find anything wrong with conceited. I mean, if you got it together, you got it.
I got a
like
reason.
That.
I look too good to be loving you.
There is nothing wrong with loving yourself 100%.
Right. But as women, we are, so to your point earlier, like, I know I went to Catholic school, so I grew, like, my family wasn't super religious, but I think that was their way of, like, okay, if she goes to a religious school, like, they'll be fine. And you learn, and there was so much hypocrisy in Catholicism as I got older, and I strayed away from that, but women weren't supposed to enjoy pleasure or weren't supposed to do this and all these other things. So I didn't start exploring, like, myself and other things and my sexuality until I got older. And even then, it happened after college. And I went to grad school as well. And so I think, a lot of times, like, we struggle with, women are the ones that are taught to suppress being, being pleased or even wanting to go after pleasure, and
so even pleasing yourselves,
right?
So I remember this from years ago. This was on Oprah way back in the day. She had this sex therapist on, and they were talking about girls and boys and what have you, and they were talking about how boys growing up, you expect boys to masturbate. this is a normal thing, even as little boys. And people kind of laugh about it. And then when the boys get to be teenagers, they're in their room with their tissues or whatever, right?
Right.
But when it comes to girls,
like, oh.
that's like a taboo thing. And this particular doctor said something that I never forgot. And I don't have kids, but I would have done this if I had had kids. She was talking about daughters, and she was saying you have to teach daughters about pleasure, about self-pleasure, about masturbation. And I thought about it, and I was like, because think about it. Think about like that first boy that gives you like that tingle and everything, and he's the whole what is that they used to say? Oh, I'm only gonna put the tip in.
Yeah.
Right. But if you're already familiar with how your own body works, when somebody comes with that tingle, you're like, girl, I got my own tingle. Yeah. Like you don't need someone to give you that tingle because you know how to do that yourself. So now you make a choice that's not like wrapped up in this sort of physical, emotional thing. So, I mean, why is that not promoted? Why is it weird for girls?
That's a good one.
Right?
Yeah. That's good.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, I think I didn't start... See, I'm in my 30s. I didn't start...
You look 12. And you look 12.
We are exactly a decade apart, Queen. I didn't start masturbating, and my one of my girlfriends bought it for me because like that's her thing. She's into that, and she wanted me to like she really believed in women being able to please themselves, and so not until like my late 20s, and I wasn't even doing it consistently. And so I know you used the word hedonist, right? Like, do you feel like
pleasure seeker? I mean, to me, hedonist is my entire life. Life is about pleasure.
Do you feel like that's a dirty word for those that
at all? No, it's not a dirty word. To be a hedonist, it just means you're a pleasure seeker.
Right.
Is there some other reason we're here in life?
Interesting. I don't. You know, it's so. Now I feel like I have to. Sean has me like I have to leave this podcast and really sit and think. Right. What the fuck am I doing? Right. Like, what am I doing?
I don't know, cause like you, I wasn't raised like with the Catholic or like my parents wasn't strict, but my mama was like, don't play with girl. You don't do that. You know, like the whole boy, like you don't need to be doing that sex. You just don't do it. Yes. So automatically you thinking you don't do it to yourself neither. Like,
it's right.
But boys, but how come they don't do that with boys?
Yeah,
just think about
it. That is a good question.
And I feel like that's a big reason why women feel like they have to shed and share their
shed and share themselves with each other,
no, like
or
not with each other, but like share from like being so open with it.
Yes,
I feel like that's the reason why, because I think it started with parents. So at what point we say like, okay, parents, like be a little open. Tell your daughter she has to be this way, because I feel like that's what happens with the whole like girls getting raped so many times because they don't know their body and they're just thinking like it's not so much it's supposed to happen.
But men are also not taught not to
do it neither.
No, because they're considered normal. Right. But it's a human function for women as well, girls. It's normal. We just try to act like it's not for some reason. This first chapter in the book is called Unlock the Cuffs. Yeah. See, I like that. See, because I want to just read a little bit about it so that you'll see that it really is not about sex. Okay. So like that part comes way later. This is all about just you getting to know you. So as it says, the first step in the art of submission is to unlock the cuffs or free yourself from restraint. Handcuffs for fun will come later if you like. It is the most difficult because it requires a conscious and definitive choice. It will not just happen. Once you take this step, the path that follows will fall into place with surprisingly little effort because your desires will be clear and accessible and the universe will conspire to help you. Unlocking the cuffs requires deep, gut-wrenching investigation, evaluation, and evolution. Change is often difficult and painful, and this is no exception. You have to find the key and unlock the cuffs on your own. No savior will help you. However, if you listen to yourself, pay attention to the messages, primarily your own instinct and inner voice, you will find a way.
Wow.
So that's just the first page.
Just a little taste.
Yeah.
Listen, so okay, I know you can't speak for men, but have you had any men inquire having similar issues? Well, because
I'm getting great feedback.
I would love to hear it, because I usually felt like some men or most men don't have to worry about being, getting their pleasure on, obviously, right? But there are men that I've encountered in my life that have been selfish on the pleasing spectrum, and then I know there are men that are like put women first, or But what are your thoughts about that? One, the feedback of like from other men, and then just two, just the whole idea of men.
So going back to, because it's like we're doing it right now. We've gotten into this conversation about sex, which is probably it's like a tangent from what the actual book is about.
Yeah.
So when men read the book, some of the things they're saying is like it felt like you were speaking directly to me. Now I've geared it towards women because I am a woman,
right?
And I hate the idea of trying to speak for men,
right?
So for instance, I'm going to say it anyway. Like the Steve Harvey book. Like, I don't need Steve Harvey.
And I read that book too. Yeah.
A woman or what that means. I think it's much more meaningful to hear it from women. And same thing with men. Now, so if men want to read it and they get something from it, that's fantastic.
Right.
And they are, because it is a book about, like I said, how to become fully self-actualized. Who am I? It answers the process of how do you get to who am I, and then once you get to that, now your job in life is to just enjoy it.
Right.
I love the look on your face.
Because
she's taking it all in. Yeah,
I'm taking this in because I'm big on it. Like I need to learn how to just know how to make sure I'm good with me.
That's
pleasing myself. And just let it go. So
I'm there. Listen,
I'm taking it in.
Even though we're 10 years apart, like we're in the same boat, and I mean, it has been a struggle bus for me. Like I would be on the phone with one of my girlfriends, and she's like, I can't wait until you get that, just and I'm like, I know.
She says, I can't wait till you get that what?
Like, but that big like we'll always talk about that, like even getting to the place, like even like pleasing myself and getting my the big O, or even like experiencing that with
that's all psychological, you guys.
But it is. I know it is. It really is, and I'm always in my head.
And the psychological, it relates to this because it's when you have that total sense of freedom. There's nothing blocking that.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm older than you guys, and I have my body physically functions fantastically.
Oh my God! Let it go.
Yes.
Let it go.
and see, that's how all of that connects. And I feel like sometimes, and I don't know if it's more so these days or not, or just maybe because of the things we see, like in videos and things like that. I mean, here's a great example. A friend of mine, so when people see this book, and even people who have read it, like I said, sometimes they get a little confused about what it is. So some people will, like say on Instagram, they'll send me some photo thinking that I'm going to like it. And it'll be a photo of some woman like face down.
Position,
and and I look at it and I'm like,
I don't need to do all that.
But there's nothing that I've written that even sort of brings that about. So I just find it interesting. And then so this one friend of mine, he sent me this video of, what's that, one of those R&B guys? Like not Usher, but...
like Tank?
I think it was Tank. So he had some video. I don't know if it was a new song or not. And it was, he and this woman are in a bar and they slink up and she's an attorney and he's about to like take care of her or whatever, and they go into this so you're looking kind of, at first I'm like, this look kind of sexy, right? Then they get into this hotel room, you just see her like her Louboutins and all this, right? And then he's singing this song, and the song is about like, I want to see your head in the pillow and ass in the air. I mean, it was just so, to me, I was like, it was written from a man's perspective of what sexy is, which is not necessarily what a woman's perspective of what sexy is. Like, to me, that was not sexy.
Say it from the mountaintop, Seanne, okay? No, I agree.
They try to go the extra mile, but I think that's because they're trying to compare it to something else, too.
But that could be what they've taught. They've been taught as well. But society also paints the picture of what sexy is and how a woman wants it, but it's always coming from a male perspective most of the time.
Almost
every time. Think about it.
So wait, I want you to look at this. I was telling you about the Instagram account. So,
and what's the Instagram account for listeners?
It's TAOS, which is the art of submission. TAOS_SNM, and my initials are SNM, by the way.
Oh, that's so funny. Yes,
SNM. They didn't plan that, I'm sure.
That's hilarious.
So I call this the art of submission roulette. So you just pick any photo that just captures your attention, anything you like. Oh, you like that one, huh?
Oh. All right.
I'm simple.
It's almost like a horoscope, like, ooh.
It is. It's
Right,
like
like-
that. Okay, so this one I say.
And what's the position?
I
Like, what's the
this.
picture?
So the picture
The
is
guy
of,
loving on me.
yeah, a man about to kiss a beautiful woman.
Oh, wait a minute.
But I
Oh,
didn't really
yes. Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so he's
And just so
he's
you know,
hovered over
he's
her.
over her,
Yes.
right? She has her hands on his
On
face,
his
and
face.
lovingly, and yeah.
Mm.
And what I do, my process is I write first, and then I find a picture that I think.
Okay, yep, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what
So
you say.
when was this?
Yes,
February 16th.
Oh, right after
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Let's
Right.
I write tonight of conversation and flight, of getting to know the hype and the height, of understanding the how and now, of sharing the wow and the next, and the moment is vexed. In the unhinged notions of what comes next, transmuted, unmuted, talk is next. Leveling up is best, your lips are talking, my mind is walking, this is strange. Connection lurking and learning, wording unhinged and unhurting. Manifestations brewing, alluding and spewing, eyes closed and dreaming, seeming like, I'm wondering if you can handle like candlelight, the other version of life.
Let me call this friend right now. Like, I just need to, let me get my phone.
I saw you too. See, I saw that was good.
Can I say,
Right one.
What'd you say, what?
I chose the correct one.
Oh, but look at you.
Oh, my
it did
God.
to your whole
It
body.
did. It did.
I was watching you out of the corner of my eye. Your legs moved in a little tighter. You crossed your legs.
Listen,
See,
listen, Linda.
That's sexy. That's sexuality. That's connection.
Yes.
So now you see when I say this is mostly the kind of writing I do, and then someone sends me some.
Like, put someone's leg up in the air. Like, can you post
where
this?
are you getting that from?
No.
By the way, on that account, I literally have women write to me. They've written to me from Dubai, from the Congo,
Oh, wow.
from Iran,
Mm.
from New York, and here and there, asking me to from Spain,
Yeah.
Barcelona, sending me their private photos sometimes, asking me to write for them.
Wow.
And saying, like, I love, because, see, I'm saying, I mean, wouldn't you love
what they're feeling
somebody
in
to
that
say
moment.
that
Yes.
to you like that?
Yeah.
That's next level,
Yeah.
right?
That's deep.
Yeah,
Have you ever done poetry?
that is my poetry.
Also, this is your.
That's me.
okay. This is you
Yeah.
like letting it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I've
I
been
bet
a
the
poet
way you
since I
was
9.
reading it, I think it was too how you was like reading it too, like.
She,
Yeah.
look, Queen's like, okay, let me get this man.
I know.
You know, she got these positions in her mind, like,
I'm too big for the position.
you say that now. Let you find a minute. I'll pick that ass up, girl. And it'll be. So you go by this new genre, inspirational erotica. Can you tell us what that is?
So inspirational erotica. It's so people, erotica meaning it stirs up something within us.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, and see, I believe that sensuality is godliness. I talk about joy, having joy in life. There's like sensuality. Like, don't you ever do something and you just feel it in your loins, like you just know, like this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what feels right for me. Even like being a radio host or being in the field of arts, doesn't it give you that that feeling?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to like tap into that. Like that to me, that's where like all our power comes from. And so that's what I mean with that erotica. It's like arousing the powerful spirit that is within us.
Right.
And then the inspirational is it's just that inspiring to arouse the best, most joyous, most sensual, most loving, delicious life we could possibly have.
I need Sean to be my. Sean is auntie now, like. Okay, Auntie SNM, right? Okay, like in a sexy way, Sean, like that's the new, right? Like, right? Like they call Michelle Obama, like, yes, like Michelle Obama's like auntie, like, you about to be auntie, yes, you are about to be, you are auntie, she is auntie. So, what insider wise words do you have for women struggling to tap into their, I want to say inner freak, as for lack of a better word, but just into their sensuality and sexuality?
Well, the first step, that's interesting. I would say the first thing that you need to do if you're struggling with that is to step back. And step back and step into your own energy. because when you're, engaging with people, sometimes you're taking on
You are,
either what they're going through, but you're also taking on how they define you.
Yeah. I love when you.
I know, because we're in here like
It's so true.
Yes.
It's so
we are going through the motions in here. Okay,
So
Yeah,
I'll tell you what I'm actually doing right now,
Okay.
and I think I'm going to write a book about this. I hadn't planned to do it, but I've been doing this 40-day cleanse, and I think it's going to be the art of submission cleanse, right? And so and it has several parts to it. So one part is meditating twice a day, 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. It's so easy. Just silence yourself 10 minutes. Do it in the morning. Do it in the evening. One is journaling every day. Another is writing letters, meaning writing letters, not that you're necessarily going to send, but there might be things you're holding on to, people that you're angry with, people who you haven't forgiven, but just write it. It just becomes, such a release. And I've been, drinking a gallon of water a day, and either kind of combination fasting or intermittent fasting, just becoming like very clean in your own spirit. Oh, and then the last that I think it's really important is just spending more time in nature, and seeing all the signs, just watching how the birds come to you. You'll start to see things that you can't see when you're all stuck in your telephone. And all of this relates to, and I mentioned to you before we went on the air, so this another initiative I have, which everything I do is about media and social enterprise to change the world.
Right.
About all that kind of empowering and betterment. So I have something called 90 minutes of solutions that I want to talk with you about.
Yeah.
And it's about, we're in a phase of, it's like hashtag I don't want this. Oh, like we're hashtag me too, hashtag blah blah, as opposed to hashtag how do we come together and create solutions around the problems that we have. And what I'm focusing on this year is children and why children aren't motivated. And part of that is because of social media and phones and this
Absolutely.
and that.
To detach.
Yeah. And as it relates to hashtag me too, just to bring it back around a bit, I am not a fan or a proponent of that. I think we need to eliminate that, because why as women do we need and or want to be constantly associated with victimization? And because it's become such a huge movement, I feel like when people see women, the first thing they see is like, oh, hashtag me too. What happened to her? Who did this to her? Or whatever. And it's like you're empowering the victimizer, as opposed to, again, how I was saying, you have to back off to everybody's looking like, oh, I wonder what happened to her.
Right.
As opposed to, who is this amazing woman?
How did she grow from that?
Exactly. Or how did she not? Who is she? Period. Not associated with anybody or anything else. It's like, you talk about the I am. I am. I'm not. I am because of you are. I am because this is me and this is who I am. So I think that we need to get rid of that kind of philosophy that has taken over this generation. We're not about associating ourselves with being victims. Period.
That's an interesting angle. I didn't even think about that. I mean, you just kind of follow along with what was happening, and as a woman, obviously, you empathize with other women, but it's gotten tarnished along the way, and so
But
it's
not only that, it's one of the things I've learned through doing this, and this is something that actually surprised me. This whole art of submission, you were asking me where it came from. It actually started with a screenplay that I wrote that's called The Art of Submission. And it's about a woman. She's a young partner at a law firm, and she is she's married to a man who's verbally abusive that ends up becoming physically abusive and almost kills her. And in this story too, there's no savior. She saves herself. She comes through. She becomes fully self-actualized. But the thing that was interesting about it is that some men read it early on, white men in particular. And they were like, this woman, this would never happen. There's no way that this woman could be a young law partner and experience this abusive relationship. And so back then I thought, wow, are they just dumb? Like they don't realize that people are getting abused all the time. And then what I just figured out literally months ago is that the reason they had that reaction is because they could not even fathom the idea of someone being that bright and allowing themselves to be abused because they wouldn't allow that. So I love using like the Terry Crews story. I think it's the perfect example. So he goes to the CAA party. That guy grabs his dick, and his wife has to hold him back because he's ready to just like kill a motherfucker, right? But she, great wife, held him back. But they handled it the right way the next day. He went to CAA. They still didn't do anything. He ended up filing a report. But my point is he took care of it immediately. And I think that is something that we can, as women, learn from. We have a tendency to let things happen, and we're like, "Oh, should I say that?"
Right, but the historical, solutions or lack thereof that have happened with women reporting anything happening to them, they're not believed.
We have to stop that.
Right,
we got to stop that. It has to you got to nip it in the bud now. Don't do it later. Like the R. Kelly thing. There was a woman, what's that guy? The author, black guy.
Is he a radio personality too?
No, but he's a big. He's like a journalist, big social media person.
No, not Sean.
Oh, I can't think of his name, but he was on there talking about R. Kelly.
Okay, you're not talking about Torre.
Yes,
Torre. Okay, yeah.
Oh, Torre.
Oh,
so he was flipping on him.
They did flip on him.
Well, this is what I was about to say. So this woman came out and said that he had been always talking to her about anal sex or whatever it was, and I heard that and I thought, you know what? What should have happened, and maybe she did, I don't know, when he was doing that, she should have said to him right then and there, stop, don't like it, don't want it, bam, done.
Right.
Don't be coming out with it 6 years later when you see him on TV.
What are your thoughts about that? They also called Charlamagne the God out as well.
But with the Torre situation, they said that she, because, she worked with him, they said that she actually did tell him that in person, but he kept trying, so she had, within DMs, and then that's when she was like, okay, now you're overdoing it, you're overstepping your boundaries.
Right.
And I heard now you're doing it to another friend of mine, and she's not, because she was the friend that didn't say anything, but her other friend, she said her other friend was going to tell.
Yeah,
so she should have came out and said it, but I think she told him personally, thinking he was going to stop, which he ended up doing. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, she should have nipped that in the butt. But they spoke up about it.
Right. It's just the history of not.
And just
but we have to get past that. Whether it's being a woman or being black. Look, when I first started practicing law, my very first legal job in Philadelphia, my first day on the job, the senior partner came into my office and said, you've been assigned so and so as your secretary. You shared a secretary with a top a partner in the firm. So he says, you've been assigned to so-and-so, and she has told us that she does not want to work for a black female attorney.
Oh.
So now this is my day one on the job. I'm fresh out of law school.
Wow.
I'm in my new associate class. I'm the third black person at the law firm. And I'm, 21. Right? So, and he's saying this to me, and I have to decide how am I going to handle this situation.
Oh.
So I took the information in. I knew that now I'm at a disadvantage day one because I'm counting on this woman, to do work that I need to have done on a timely basis.
Right.
So I start immediately just, taking notes and monitoring what she's doing and calling her supervisor when necessary. And then one day she comes into my office and says, I hear you've been complaining about my work. And I was like, as a matter of fact, I have, and she says something else. And I said, well, the bottom line is you said you don't want to work for a black female attorney. Is that correct? She said, that is correct. I said, great. Let's call your supervisor right now. Let's reiterate that. Yeah. So I call the person. She doesn't answer. I said, she's not there. Let's call the senior partner. So I said, Steve, so-and-so is here, and she would like to let you know that she doesn't want to work for a black attorney. So he was down to my office, toot sweet, and her ass, and she was working with one of the top litigators in the city of Philadelphia. Had been with him for 20-something years, and her ass was fired that day.
Bye.
So my
But
point
you said
is,
something.
Yeah.
You did something about it.
We do have the power to do it, and it does work. I've done that more than once. I had to do the same thing when I worked on Wall Street. When this my first day on the job, this guy told me some joke that had something to do with black people ain't shit and lesbians, something. And I had to sit there that day and decide, okay, what am I going to do? I shared the joke with my boss later that day, who was a managing partner who was extraordinary, West Point guy. He said, whoever said that is fired. And he didn't even ask me who it was, which on Wall Street, it could have been his top producing, trader on Wall Street. He didn't ask me that. He said, whoever said it is fired. And they were. And so my point is, even as it relates to me, we as women, we are, and this goes to the art of submission.
Right.
When you submit fully to yourself and you know who you are and you know your strength and your power and your joy, that stuff, you can't even, first of all, that stuff is not even going to happen anymore.
Yeah, you are speaking to my soul, because I picked it up from I feel like my parents, more so my dad. Like, there's certain things that I would speak up about, and there were things that I didn't speak up about, and things would just fester. And so now I'm getting to the point, and like in relationships, and even like in work and careers and different work environments, and
that's
it's
giving me the chills.
But it is, because it's so frustrating, because
but it doesn't have to be.
You're absolutely right, because the one thing I thought about in your situation is, if they didn't fire that woman, you had another decision to make. You could have either stayed or you could have left, right? And so I think about that when I'm in a situation where I'm just like, is it worth saying something? Is it not worth saying something? Like, I just...
And see, to me, I never even thought about leaving.
Yeah.
For me, that was...
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I wasn't leaving.
I love that. That's the energy I need. This is why you're auntie. This is why you're auntie.
Yeah, you don't...
Yeah.
You don't leave.
Yeah.
Why would you be thinking about leaving?
Because I think we're just stuck in this way, because I'm like that too, like, oh my God, like, how am I going to get through this? And one thing about me though, I'm very blunt. Like, I don't care what I say out my mouth. I'm going to let you know how I feel. Depending on the situation. For some reason, I feel like in certain situations, I just have to be like, damn, I don't want to do this to that person. Like, I feel like
I've thought like that too.
So many times. And it's
so
like,
you could do one thing for me. This is today Monday? Yeah.
Yes.
So this week, instead of telling people how you feel and, being blunt, just observe.
Okay.
Just sit back and just start observing people.
Okay.
Just for the week. I would love to hear what you see after you spend time observing. Because sometimes you don't need to say anything. Sometimes it becomes, changing your own behavior as it relates to that person.
Right.
You know
Right.
You might when you observe you might not even want those people in your world.
Come on now, because I heard you about to say pull back, right? Like I was talking to her outside about some different things, and I was just like, I just had to kind of start protecting my energy as it related to certain things, because I was like, this certain people aren't going to change, and they may feel justified in their positions, and it's one of two things. I could keep trying to be resistant and try to push against it, or just I'm gonna be over here.
Just keep being you.
I tell you, building on yourself is all about you at the end of the day.
I've definitely fallen back a little bit on myself, and I was just like, Georgette, this is not who you are. Don't do that. And so, okay, real quick before we you tell us like how we can find your book. So we had an offline conversation about LA, New York, I know I moved from New York a few months ago, and I am missing the shit out of New York. Like, I love I'm gonna be real honest. Like I am, but I started entertaining the idea of LA eventually. Like, I've never done LA. And so, Queen was talking about LA, and so you told us that you just moved from LA and you came to South Florida. Okay, so what is...
So I went from New York to LA.
Okay.
East Coast my whole life until this little... I'm trying to think, like, what do they call it when you go to prison? Like my... what do they call that? My time. That's it.
Right.
I did my time in LA for like 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
And when I first went, it was about the weather.
Okay.
The weather, the beach. You're like, oh, it's fabulous for about 3 years. After that, I was like, who are these people?
I hear
LA is all about...
Fufu-shishi.
It's about lies. So think of New York.
I'm too real for that.
Right. In New York, it's very much about business.
Yes.
Oh my God, New York is a different
like,
breed of people.
And in New York, if you lie, you go to jail.
Oh.
Right, but people will call you out. I mean, there's so many different things in place in New York.
In fact, but they'll call you out and they'll say, like, I don't like you, but let's get this work done.
Yes.
Right.
In LA, it's not like that at all. it'll be like, I like you, let's get this work done. Then you'll be calling, and you'll never hear from them.
Right.
Right.
But people have, I mean, I was told different things, like you find your tribe, that's who you rock with when you're out there. Like when you were out there for those 5 years, what was the mix of things that you were doing?
I don't know. I didn't have a tribe. I did not have a tribe. And I was at the highest levels in the music industry.
Oh, yes, because I saw that you were in the music industry. Yes.
Yes.
And that's even a cutthroat industry as well.
Yeah. But I'm saying it wasn't even like I was starting from the bottom I was already there.
It was like, you're like, fuck this.
Vice chair of Universal's office, partnered with Ted Field, who's a co-founder of Interscope.
Yeah.
My aunt is the co-founder of Motown.
Wow.
I was working with Smokey Robinson, ran this big portfolio of music IP. So I'm saying I was like right there. It's just that it's just not real. It's not real.
Now I hear that all the time. I do hear that all the time. That I hear it's not real. Everybody is fake, and I hear everybody on drugs.
I think that the drug world is more prevalent here, actually.
And here,
exactly. Hell the fuck yeah, girl. Do you know how many times the Coast Guard is finding like pounds of cocaine off the shore? I agree.
In LA, it's just about weed. LA is like,
I mean, people do
smoke
cocaine
weed and
out
go
there.
to yoga and drink tea.
Yeah.
Here, people are like on. I've never heard so much in my life about cocaine until.
Oh man, I mean, I know some people that do that out in LA and California, but it's like on a party scene here. Like this is like it's a lifestyle, here. Right? Like they're getting money from it on some real shit. Like this is their full-time job. Oh my gosh.
That's so funny to me because I'm so clueless. Like I be so.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
I don't do that. But yeah, one thing about me, I don't do fake. Like I know how to play the fake role. Like I can be all cheery, happy, but when it comes down to business and getting stuff done, like don't be fake with me.
I mean, you're going to encounter that in the law, though. You are.
Like the skill set with both of you, because you have really powerful, strong skill sets. What they want to do is suck it out of you.
Oh no!
Like a vampire, like literally, because they'll see, especially like when I went to LA with my New York, because you slow down a lot,
right?
You'll see, and your slow is still super fast compared to everybody else. So I got there and I'm like. And you like the way you dress. People pick up on it, and then you slow down a little bit, but people they like that and they want to grab it because they know you can get shit done. Right. And then they make you these promises about what they're gonna do when you get the shit done. But that shit never
happens. Oh, I came down to South Florida with that energy. Like, I hit the ground running. I was just like, wait, why are y'all moving so slow? Like what's going on? I was like, y'all, like, it doesn't even take that long to do what you think it's going to take. Just get it done now. Just get it done now. Oh, my gosh. Right. So, Seanne, tell us how they can find your book and find you online before we go into this next segment.
The Art of Submission, The Woman's Guide to Fulfillment is on Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's I actually have a global publisher now. That I signed with last week.
Come on, yes.
Available in bookstores globally. And I'm at TAOS_SNM on Instagram. And my Instagram account is Seanne N Murray, SeanneNNMurray. Yes. And I want you to pick one from the thing. Can we have you?
Oh, do one real quick? Yeah, for sure.
Let's see what Georgette.
I want to see. That's what I want to kind of see too. Let's see what you choose.
Yes, my visual. Ooh, okay.
One for the road.
Yeah.
I hope you pick a good one.
You know what? I like this one.
Oh, this is a cute one. Cute couple, loving, he's holding her.
And you know what's so funny? Like I'm projecting like all these positions I want to be in, like even if it's not, shit.
So this one is from February 2nd. So, have you ever loved someone, knew they were divine, had to let them fly to find that on their own time? Mm-hmm. Did you see the look in their eyes the first time? Did others feel the fire, know the desire, the flame of all that is between her and his, the undefinable, tangible, undeniable thing that always is? Have you ever loved someone, known the first time what is?
I'm about to hit my friend up. Like, I need you to come over stat because, like, okay.
Right?
Yes. Okay, so we're going to get into our segment called All of the Things. It's the closing segment. So it's something personal that happened in our day, week. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's lighthearted. But when I thought I was going to have a male co-host on, we were thinking about my Father's Day is coming up in a few months, but would anyone date someone with children. And I know I had girlfriends I would be like, I ain't dating no man with children. But as you start approaching your 30s, your 40s, like, sis, it's gonna be hard to find, partners without children. So, Sean, I'm gonna kick it off to you 1st. Are you in a relationship?
I'm not in a relationship.
Okay.
I look forward to being in a relationship.
Yeah.
I would prefer someone who does have kids.
Oh, you would?
Yes.
Okay. Please explain. I know, right?
Yes.
Heads turn. We want all the tea. Yes, tell us.
Oh my God.
You were totally shocked.
I thought you was gonna say.
Yeah, no.
But
no,
I can't. I think.
One,
Yeah.
I'm not having any kids.
Okay. Yep.
So, and I prefer a man who has kids, so he has fulfilled that part of his life.
That's fair. Yep, I can
And
see that.
I prefer if they're older kids, like, maybe at least end of high school, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So that, because I really want the opportunity to have a relationship where I can be a priority in that man's
That's
life.
fair.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Okay,
come
that
on.
makes sense.
That answer is flawless. I
Yeah,
like that
it is.
one.
Like, it makes so much sense. You don't want to. Okay, yeah.
Okay, Queen, what about you?
I'm still young.
I
I
know.
don't want
But don't be surprised, girl. I mean, what does that mean? What?
over there.
Men over here
I
having kids
can't-
in their 20s.
No, I know, but I don't want them.
Okay.
No.
You don't want the baby mama drama and all
It ain't
that.
even about the baby. First of all, if you have a baby mama, your baby mama needs to stay over there. She don't need to have no type of communication with
Ooh,
me.
ooh.
No, but and because of the attitude, because I feel like you can't have the attitude when you're dealing with somebody with a kid, because at the end of the day, the child is gonna come
That's right.
before you.
Always,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm the only child, so I'm.
Oh.
Is that you feel me? So I'm not an attention seeker, but I do.
You're
crave
used
my
to
attention.
you.
Yeah, so like.
You could say you're a hedonist.
Come on, girl. Queen,
She
AKA.
hesitated. She's like,
Yeah, so I just feel like in this season, I can't. Granted, I'm not against it because I feel like whatever got attract older man.
Well, because think about like the men your age, your maturity level is probably
It's higher than theirs, but that's I attract them based off of looks before I do
right.
and do most of them have kids these days that are your age?
Have you ran into anybody?
Like 24 to 30?
Yeah.
Are you finding like 30?
Yeah, and no, it's even, like it's half and half. But I try, but that's my fault because I'm the type of girl, like I'm not the approacher. Like I don't know, like you have to approach me because I feel like if a man don't approach me, then he don't want me type thing. So I'd rather you approach me before. That's the type of time I'm gonna like you if you approach me because I probably was eyeing you anyway. So yeah, so I feel like
you're just saying you like them to approach you, and then because now you know that they're interested in you, and now you can evaluate whether you're interested in them or not.
Yes. So the kids play a factor in it, and if I do, then that's the time I'm gonna like you regardless. And if the conversation is good and everything's going good, and you have kids, I may be okay with it.
Do you ask that question right away, or does it just come out?
Not social media era.
Oh,
so
that's true.
I'm saying we're gonna see it before anything. So it's like we're gonna see. So eventually it's gonna. And when having conversation with men too, it's a habit for them to bring up like, I gotta take my child this way. Because if I do talk to a man, he do have kids. I hope he's in that child's life, like because that's very important. So that's because I have my mom and my dad, so I know how.
So if you ever had a guy approach you who you liked, who had kids, that you were like, I'm not interested.
I want to go straight to now. Dang, only because it's
hitting
hard.
The hard hitting questions. Come on, Sean, call her out.
Only because I feel like it's I'm getting hot. Oh my god.
Oh, I think it was from the I think that's what it was. Okay. I'm running on my neck. I'm like, ooh, okay.
I think do the next one in the evening.
I'm gonna say no. If a guy approached me and I found out he has kids, I don't think I would talk to him because I feel like it's so many men in this world who don't have kids.
I challenge you. Maybe Sean, you might agree, disagree. I just challenge you to be open-minded.
100%.
Because the reason why
might be the one.
He could be.
He might be, but it's like
I just say this. Early 20s, I was like, I don't want a man with children. But as I got older and I started meeting people that were treating me like the queen that I started realizing that I was, you know, a lot of times for me it was as long as they are in their children's lives, as long as there is a true relationship with their children, that was very important to me. I think there still needs to be a relationship with the mother, but I can't dictate what the relationship is because, you know, a lot of times relationships can be very contentious depending on who they feel is at blame for things not working out. But
And hopefully it's not contentious because then you can find out a lot about who that man is.
Right.
I think also, I mean, they say children changes everyone's lives. I think children soften men because now a man
if it's a girl
really knows what love is. So I think it's the potential of opening up something that wasn't otherwise opened up, you know?
Right. I think
so cute.
I think you check in with her. I think you check in with her when you run into a guy that you like or you're attracted to that has children. You always, because the most attractive men that has no children have also been some of the most disrespectful men in my life that I've dated. You know what I mean? Like I've had like height requirements, slender, no hair on their chest, this, that, and the third.
No hair on their chest.
Oh, I hate hair.
That's a thing for you?
It was a little bit of a thing for me.
See, now it's a thing for me. I hate chest hair. Like,
but I know. But I mean, like my list wasn't like that. It wasn't that detailed. But I wanted a tall man, and I met some attractive men, but they were also the men that I've allowed to disrespect me. So that's why I said open your mind. And
how did they disrespect you?
You know, the one guy I dated in college, verbal abuse. He put his hands on me like he had mushed food in my face that I had in my car. I mean, but like he also noticed this from his father, who he didn't call father, doing this stuff to his mother. And then I started connecting the dots. I was like, if he can hang up on his mother, Georgette, you are not exempt from that. But it took me a minute to realize, like, so how they treat their mother is how they're going to treat you.
Even how they treat their friends. I mean, it's always cute when you have this new relationship and you'll be like laughing with them about other things that they're doing until you realize that eventually they're going to treat you the exact same way.
Absolutely. And so the disrespect lessened, and as I moved up the ranks, like I really started seeing, I'm like, oh, this is what I want. Like started gauging more and more, and then no longer.
In a relationship now?
No, but it no longer came in the form of like he has to be tall, he has to be this, he has to be that. But you gotta be a little fit, like I like looking at that chest and that V, right? I do. I am.
I know I'm thick, so I don't mind my guy being thick, and he got to be able to lift this girl, like lift me.
So when I said like this man can lift you up, you're like, ooh, Sean, what you lifting me up for? Anywho, Sean, how can they find you online?
Sure. Yeah. The Art of Submission, The Woman's Guide to Fulfillment on Amazon, and Seanne N. Murray, SEANNE NMURRAY on Facebook and Instagram, and TAOS, The Art of Submission _ SNM on Instagram.
Queen, aka hedonist queen. How can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Queen They Said. It's literally spelled how it said. QUEENTHEYSAID.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you. And you can also check my entertainment page out, Tell Me More Media, on Instagram as well, and Facebook. And I also do videography, so y'all can hit me up for that.
You want to get out your email address?
No.
Okay.
They can
hit you up online. Yeah.
Everything linked to everything.
Right.
My website. Yeah.
Send your message.
You can find me on Twitter at Georgette, Instagram, Georgette Star, or my website, GeorgettePierre.com. You can find Black and Nuanced Podcast on Twitter and IG at Black Nuanced Pod. And then you can find us, follow us, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify at Black and Nuanced Podcast. Ladies, thank you so much, Seanne. This was amazing.
Thank you.
So I feel like a part 2 is going to be like, she's going to find this man that has children, and she's going to be madly in love with him. And she's going to give him a copy of your books. We're going to have to read this together.
I can feel the heat coming from your body.
Yes. Thank you so much, ladies.
I love it.
All right. Peace.